Okay, I believe we are on and live. Are we, Lars? Great. All right. Yay. So, again, I get to talk a little bit about Mr. Trump and the process in which he's going through. it's few people remember 2016 and the inauguration of Trump, and then the winning of Trump, yeah, and how he really didn't get the votes. He got the electoral, yeah. So vote-wise, he was short, yeah, and electoral-wise, he won, yeah. I think 306 electoral votes. And so that made him president, yeah. And it didn't make people happy on the other side. They're going, he didn't have enough votes. You know, why don't we count the ballots again and change the electoral ballot? That's not hard to do because he had more votes. Yeah. It only made sense at that time to do such a thing. And so a little bit of that goes on, but it only lasts a day. Just a day, you know. They're questioning it, you know. I demand a recount, you know, one or two locations. And then it shuts down. She immediately goes on the mic and says, I want to congratulate the new president-elect, you know, and not made him wait, you know, 2 or 3 days because it's the right thing to do. And then Obama comes out and invites him to the House on the 9th. You know, he goes in for the first time he's actually in Washington, you know, walking around the White House, and he's invited in, and they sit down, and very nicely, you know, the president says, as it is always done by every president, I am doing what is to be done. And I appreciate this process, and I will fulfill this process according to the Constitution. And I want to give you all the rights and the power and make it easy for you to make it through your transition to become president. Because this is how it's done. You know, making it hard is totally not democratic. You know, it's not at all democratic. And we are under the Constitution of the United States, which is democracy. You know, so we follow through on that, especially the president. Of all the people in the world, the president's supposed to be the highest moralistic person that is right order for right relationship and saying the right thing and being politically correct in every possible way. Or a well-thinking person who thinks out everything they're going to say way before they say it, you know, and doesn't just blurt out stuff, you know. But you should learn that. That's what you should learn. If you haven't learned it yet, you should learn it when you're president. Well, he's in his 4th year and he hasn't learned it yet. And today, you know, if you go back at that time, you can go back and look at the news media. You know, look how all of them were upset, calling, you know, Hillary a baby, calling the Democrats babies for crying that they want to have the vote checked out for just one day, you know. And they're all over the place just going, why don't they do the right thing, you know? Why don't they just honor this as the way it's supposed to be? And they really put up a big mess over it, you know, over and over, every single one of them, you know, and Kaylee and everybody, right? You know, and yet if you look at it today, you know, they're doing exactly what it is they said you shouldn't do. Yeah, if you look at it, it's word for word. It goes on and on and on. This is so not democratic. This is so not the American way. It inhibits the right of the next president, and it dishonors the people of America. All this, that's what they're saying, you know. And Fox News is obviously on top of that and everything. You know, so he was ushered in, you know, to his position very nicely, kindly, you know. And everybody's going, he can't be the president. He's a businessman. He's a producer for a TV show. He's not the president. This is insane. How did we do this, you know? But yet it still happened. So, since we are Democrats and we do go by the vote of the people, and we do have this electoral vote up to now, and we won't later, it'll be gone, in about 10 years, it'll be gone, and then we're really going to feel that, we all have human rights, we can't just be ushered to the side because of an electoral vote, make a person president or anything. That'll end, that time will go, It's just, it was designed in order to create equal characteristics within the voting field in smaller states, in smaller counties, in smaller areas, where the counties had a number. They didn't just have 300 people in it or 200 people in it. They actually made a difference in the end of the governing election of that state. So by turning it into an electoral ballot, it balanced out many of the counties. But now we're going to find that that's not the case. That's not what we need to do, and we need to just do a direct electoral vote. But anyway, this guy is going on and on and on over his relationship of not believing that this is correct. And what he's saying is that this is not a democratic country. That's what he's saying. I'm going to sue you because in my realm where I live, as a dictator and a tyrant, and a person who will not take these things, because where I come from, democracy doesn't exist. And when you put me in the middle of democracy, which would be voting, you put me in the middle of that, and if I don't win, you're going to see the devil in me because I'm not democratic. Democrats are angels. It's the positive side of the angelic person that lives in the world. That's democracy. That's not, Republican, Democrat. It's democracy. It's the outcome of human nature. He is not the outcome of human nature. He has no democracy whatsoever. So when you get into a voting situation, the devil doesn't believe in voting. The devil believes that voting can be and should be corrupted. And it should also be able to be stopped when the dictator says, "Oh, I'm close, stop right there. Okay, now let's recount and add more of mine in and throw the others out because they're illegal." Anything that's mine is legal. Don't worry about it. It's legal. Trust me. I'm the one. I'm the authority here. I'm the President of the United States. And that's not democracy. In democracy, we do not serve one person. We do not serve a particular belief system, whether it be a religion or anything like that. We serve a country that chooses to be democratic in the way they evolve. So they have to keep working toward human rights. They have to keep working toward all the conditions that make things good for everybody. All the conditions, And it's hard, because after a while you just go, oh, let's just be socialist. Oh, let's just be communist. It's so much easier to do it that way. But to be democratic means that you have to be empathetic. You have to be compassionate. And it has to be in fellowship. Can't just be capitalistic. Because capitalistic is both in communism, Marxism, and even socialism. And even though it says it's not, it's based on it. So the only thing that actually is reality is the Christian way. And that's democracy. So you can't really be led under one particular individual that tells you these are the rules, this is the way it's got to be. It's got to be a collective consciousness. And in that collective consciousness, in the highest way, we decide that this is the way we have to move through. And we can then choose to make changes in that as we go down the road. We can ratify, we can add to, we can do all these things. because all about democracy is a relationship of change, and we're in the unknowing realm. Yeah, because it's truth, justice, and the American way is democracy. Yeah, that means no corruption and honest truth, sharing and caring about things that are going on. You know, new things that are advanced. You know, real things that are holding us back and ripping us off. You know, today we call them whistleblowers, because they actually have to buy into evil, be in that evil, and find that they're in the evil, and they have to blow a whistle while they're in the evil. And if they can actually walk out that door without being shot, they're really lucky. But their career's over with. Their whole life is over with. Yeah. You know, their sense of dedication to any person whatsoever. You know, if you're a whistleblower, you can't be trusted. Yeah. You could be coming in here and telling on us too next. Yeah. And when you're in a non-democratic reality, that the corruption and things like that go on, yeah, and it's democracy that gets us through it. It wakes people up. It's an inner dream that we should be the good, the true, and the beautiful. Yeah, we should clarify and do what is right for justice. Yeah, because it's the American way. Yeah, and that gives us the heart. That gives us strength and courage. It makes us look open-mindedly as to what is the problem and how can we fix it, and serve everybody in the process. Nobody in this democracy, we believe everybody's equal. It's in the Constitution. Yeah. Yeah. So that whole entire process is the American process. It's not something that's going on in Russia or Germany or England or any place else. Yeah. And when we go and we talk about the evolution of other countries, we talk about the development of democracy. Now, we hope that democracy will flourish in that country. That democracy will be the outcome in Africa. Democracy will be the outcome in any place, you know, that's in the process that they're in. Yeah. Because democracy is the Christian way. And it's the hardest way. Yeah. But it has been found, you know, that every other way is an ism, and it leads you to a cult. And staying out of a cult is pretty much, should be your life's goal. Because that's the easiest thing to get into. You know, you're born in one. Yeah. And you got to figure out how to get out of that. Yeah. And then you go to school, and you're in that cult. Oh, yeah, we're the spiders, or we're the Indians, or we're the, you know, whatever. You know, that's the football team, and now it's the baseball team, and now it's the this, you know. And our mascot is a whatever, you know. But it all puts us together in a cult. Yeah. And then we feel obligated, you know, more and more sixth ray. Everything builds on us, you know, so that when we are ready to graduate, we have a better chance of getting into more conditions that allow us to take $5 an hour, $8 in a world that requires us to have no less than $15 an hour to get a very cheap apartment and hardly any food on the table. No less than that. Yeah. And taxes that don't take it out, you know, and all of a sudden you find you're only getting 15. No, you're getting 10. No, you're getting 8. No, you're getting 9. Yeah, and your cost of living stays the same, and it keeps going up and up and up. But the taxes get on you, and if you're full time, you got to pay for your insurance. If you're full time, you got to do all these different things. Yeah, and if you don't have family, they'll tax you 10 times more than anybody else. Yeah, if you have a bunch of kids, oh, okay, then we'll give you benefits on that. Another kid, okay, you got what, 3? Okay. Can take that off your taxes. Yeah. And then what are we left with? You know, we're left with absolutely nothing unless you happen to be one of those very, you know, rare kind of people that's only in the 30% realm, of all of the United States. People who make enough in their wages to get through and pay for their family and not have 3 or 4 people working, 2 jobs at the same time, wife and husband, in old used cars. And everybody else is talking about how they got a new car, and none of your neighbors got a new car. You don't have a new car. Who is it that's talking about having a new car? Nobody in my neighborhood has a new car. Yeah. So that starts making you feel like you are in the wrong group. It makes you angry. Makes you upset. Makes you feel that people are out after you, and that everything you're putting into it is worth nothing. So those people down who do not have good cars, do not have good homes, do not have a good job, are going to rob you. There's very little alternative. Very little alternative. You end up on the street, or they end up in your house and stealing packages off your door. It's a standard business for people who don't have any income. They have to steal. They have to beg. And borrow, and then they can't pay back. And they're only 30 years old. They got $50,000 in school. They got, these are people who are not the poor. These are people who are just above the poor, who actually went on to college. And they got themselves in so much debt, they're almost at the level of the poor. And if it wasn't for the fact they have families that are up there in that 30% realm, that they can call and ask for help and get a little loan and find some support through the next 5 or 10 years as they're making it through life. This is all normal stuff. All normal stuff. And democracy is what holds that into a truth. It's our slow process of being able to, if we're governed correctly, then the governing body is almost a prophetic body, visionary body. They're holding a truth of protection, both in military or other things, but they're also funding things that are supporting ongoing new sciences, new technologies, new engineering, advancements of solar, advancements of wind generators, something you personally can't do in your house. But the government, it's all the governments that are doing this. And it's by that process, and that's an aspect of democracy, where people are out there buying wind generators and building wind generators and putting solar everywhere, all across India, all across Arabia, all across Arizona, all across Nevada, all across Utah. And wind generators everywhere. And that brings in, that is part of our democracy, is spending money for society. And not just to make money, like dams and things like that. But when you build wind generators and you're building solar and you're supporting the making of battery systems, and funding people to buy electric cars at a cheaper rate, and funding people to put solar on their house at a cheaper rate. And then as time goes on, we help people buy $20,000 homes rather than $200,000 or $2 million homes. But just $20,000, $30,000 homes, which are totally functional, highly functional homes. And not in a little tiny wedge of the city that used to be a parking lot. But literally places where people can go and live, have a community, have their own store, have a little business going on, Not something separate where poverty has to remain poverty, but something to where you can support it as a growing community. Community of tiny homes if it has to be. 10,000 tiny homes can certainly fit. And imagine you give 1 acre to a tiny home and you allow them to garden, have chickens, and a cow. You let these people do that. Yeah. And you allow this process to move through. This is the only thing that government can allow to happen. Yeah. If you try and do it on your own, you gotta get all this money together, you gotta get all this to work out. But if the system, if literally the government is on your side and seeing a vision as it's coming in, as an impressed by that vision. So right now we have Biden coming in. And our last relationship with Biden was that we got Tesla. Tesla would not be here if it wasn't for Biden. Biden pushed $40 million on Obama and explained to him the necessity of supporting this company to make sure it makes it through its complete manufacturing cycle. So the first car can get built, the Model S. Not the sports car, but the Model S. And he did that. America gave $40 million into it, and we got 15% back interest, so we made a lot of money out of it. But out of that, we actually got not just that, but we got a solar company, we got an electric car company, and we got rockets that are putting man into orbit, and satellites that are going into orbit. That from now on, those satellites are going to be our means of communication. All our Wi-Fi communication, all our cellular forms of communication are going to start coming through this type of internet Wi-Fi service. Telephones will switch from being cellular operated to Wi-Fi operated to your own Wi-Fi center. And you carry that's your Wi-Fi, that's your telephone, your antenna is connected, satellite. And you can go off repeaters that are working on the same satellite. In the future, we'll have ground station repeaters that work with the satellite, making it available even cheaper to people. So when you travel, you don't need this cellular process. We work directly off a very high-end satellite. So we can send pictures and video and everything through our telephone. Right now we're limited with the amount of data we can put into our phone. And that's not going to be the case. Our electric cars are going to come in a totally different situation, and our car situation is going to turn out to be pretty much free. But this is only because of democracy. We're evolving into the place where Biden this is going to be his third term. He was vice president 2 terms in a row. When you're vice president and you're the person he is, which really plays 100% role as vice president, effectively changing many things in the process. You're very much in the same power level as the president. So he held that for 2 terms, and he knows what he can get done, and he knows the effect of putting this work together and how that can affect the outcome way down the future. So there's no slow action in what he wants to do. Whether it be insurance or be motivating more and more electric cars, or motivating more and more housing for low-income housing. In the other side, the guy was going, I'm getting rid of all low-income housing. All you suburban women out there with your aprons on. That's what Trump would say. All you nice suburban women out there with your aprons on. You don't have to worry about these Mexicans and low-income housing people. They're not going to be coming in your location because I'm going to get rid of low-income housing. Imagine someone says shit like that. They're so non-democratic. They devalue everybody, and they see it only as a buck of their own economy. Not democracy. Democracy is sharing the economy. It's better than communism, it's better than socialism, where they say they share the economy. But democracy, in truth, shares the economy. That's its outcome. It turns to philanthropy. Our richest people who are at that 2% level, they donate all their money to society. Not to their kids, Trump will do it to his kids, but not everybody else. We have a whole brand new system today of 20 or 30 of the number one billionaires in the world who's dedicating a major portion of all their money to social needs, while they're alive, and at the moment they die, poop, there it goes. That's all of it. That's philanthropy. That's democracy. That happens in a world of democracy. If it happened in a world of communism or socialism, it would be a great big crack in that realm of socialism, or in that realm of, any kind of ism. But in democracy, it's an expected evolution of democracy, is giving away money. Giving away money. By heart alone, by compassion alone, by empathy alone, building libraries. All over the United States, building the largest libraries. Richest guy in the world did that. And left behind an education system and a beautiful system that made it possible for a lot of people to get through their educational process and get us to where we're at. Well, that's going to be 1,000,000 times more in this next cycle of generation, the numbers of people that are so rich. Where before we'd look at the rich as being people who are taking from the poor. In the future, we'll look at the rich are the people who support, provide, and give to the poor on a daily basis. It's one thing to give a little bit as you're alive, doing all that, and then giving it all at the end, But they're all going to get to a point to where they give it all and keep only a small portion to keep the business running, And they keep dividends that's coming in, maintaining them at a very nice level. But all the rest that would be accumulated going into this enormous amount of their own income, is immediately transferred over into human needs, rather than there being taxes and things like that. It goes into social needs, into services that can't be provided for, that can be stimulated into human behavior. Just like right now, if it wasn't for Amazon putting all this money, 100,000 electric vehicles, vans. Now, the chance of us jumping to getting a van, in our evolution, in our society, and our lack of democracy, we got so many people, GM and everybody, who's not democratic, totally capitalistic, going, nah, I'm not going to do electric, nah. Maybe in 10 years, maybe in 8 years, I'll give you 2 cars, But then a deal goes on, and they find out we just lost a deal of 100,000 vans, and Ford sponsored it. Ford. Now, if you look at the group of people out there who is in these groups, Ford has been the biggest sponsor from PBS to everything that comes down to nature and society and even God. The great-grandchild of Ford was a supporter of Krishna, and created the largest Krishna temple in America, in Virginia. So it's not just philanthropy. There's the influence of God passes through democracy. And we pick up more and more ability to be able to recognize Godhead. Because Godhead is teaching us in the past, which brings us to the present. And makes us behave the way we are, because there's so many incarnations of Godhead, it's almost impossible not to behave correctly. Because we have so many lives to pick up on. And we don't get that until democracy comes in, and all of a sudden we start flourishing, and we build temples, and we build other things, and that's part of the philanthropy. So we're going to move into this. It's our world. It's what's going on. We have 4 years of Biden, 4 years. Now, we know that he's going to wipe everything away that Trump did. He's going to get us back in the Paris Accord. He's going to get us back into NATO. He's going to straighten out all the things that has to do with how we're dealing with this virus. Are we getting tested? Are we actually finding local relationships all around the United States? And are we dealing with them closing them down, shutting them off only in the locations where they need to be shut off. That's what he's going to do. And that's what you have to do. So if you do that, within 6 months, even before this vaccine gets here, we'll have the virus down from an average of, what do we have? 130,000 deaths a day here recently. Yeah. That's a lot. Yeah. And that's solely because of this organization that doesn't have anything to do with America, democracy, and the blessings that we have coming into it. And when those blessings start coming together, and we all can share in this great big plan, which is something we share. It's the American reality, And when that starts coming together, then all of a sudden, many, many things that are already in place start popping up as though they're like flowers or fruit or something that we never knew it existed, but it's been in place for the last 3 or 4 years, but it's been shut down or shut off by Trump. So we don't really know that it's functioning. We don't really know that it's there. And all we have to do is just agree. Okay, let's do this. Let's get these contracts up and going. We'll pay you the money we promised. Where in almost all the cases, just like in right now, we're going to get a vaccine and we're going to get it from Pfizer. Pfizer didn't want anything to do with Trump. Because he's not a person you want on the phone. He's not a person you want to affiliate with. And in their nature, what they wanted to do was work their hardest, make enough for the entire United States, and vaccinate every living person in the United States for free. And he wants to take credit for that. He wants to take credit for it. It was him, it'll be $9.95, $12 for you. Old people, it's $8. For that kid over there, let's charge him $10. He looks pretty healthy, he probably wouldn't die. Now that one over there, he looks pretty bad, better charge him $50. The ratio of this craziness, is what we're suffering from. And you can't trust who you're going to talk to. You go to the airport, you want to get a ticket. It used to be that it was the airport person that stood there that made up the price of your ticket. And you didn't know that. You thought, this is a business. And everybody pays the same price. The person next to me is paying the same price I'm paying. There's no real reasonable reason as to why I would be charged $500 more than another person, unless you didn't ask, Well, what I would say to my students, here's what you do. When you call up the airlines, you call up one time. You tell them everything you need. Get a price. Hang up. Call up again and get another person. Tell them everything you need. Get a price. And you'll find out you've just saved $200 or $300 because the first person's having a bad day. And they're going to take it out on you. And they're going to add baggage and they're going to add all kinds of shit to you if you continue with that person, because it'll go on to the next person and the next person. It's like imperil placed upon your ticket. And no one knows this is what's going on. I mean, it happens everywhere. You go to your store, they glad hand you. They won't look in your eyes. They won't say hello. If you talk to them, it's disruptive. Too much conversation here. Getting an answer and being able to have a direct conversation is the most important thing in anything. And it has to happen no matter what you're doing. So a lot of times people are having a bad day. And whether democracy is the outcome of the whole thing, but you are the embodiment of democracy. You are the possibility of what comes with democracy, which is a radiating energy, that calms people down. It helps them make a better decision. helps them realize, well, that's not nice. I shouldn't do that. Okay, here's what I'll do. And they change their mind. Yeah? But you got to stay calm. You can't go in defensive. You can't go in war. Yeah? You can't start demanding that they do anything, because then you're just like, another one of those hostile people demanding things. Yeah? Yeah. So everything has to do with democracy in order to pull it off. It's an ongoing energetic reality. Yeah? Yeah. So there's a real positive side to everything that's going on right now. We have a lot of craziness, but we should expect it. Yeah. The symptoms from Trump, we should expect it. Yeah. He won't even come out of his room. He came out of his room once in the last week, one time. Came out. Yeah. And because Pfizer came up with a date, and then he got all upset because immediately he gets on Twitter and says, yes, we ordered that into happening. We pushed it into happening. It's part of the package of the, curing everybody plan, kind of thing, And he tweets that, and just within a second, the head of Pfizer starts tweeting and says, excuse me, but we have never taken $1 from the United States government, nor have we assigned any agreements with the United States government. We're doing this on our own behalf as us, and we're going to provide it for free, And he didn't say he's going to provide for free. They said it first. So that really pissed him off. So then he gets on TV today and he says, well, like Pfizer made a big mistake, They don't know what they were saying. They just, how that happens, you mean to say one thing, but then you say another, well, that's what happened, I'm not sure if they actually lied, but it was a lie, And he just goes on, tearing down a company that's put millions of dollars, going to save the United States, and he jumps in front of it like a little shit, and he says, hey, over here, over here, over here. Don't forget me. I know I've been fired and everything because I'm not doing my job, but hey, and then he goes on and on and on explaining how he saved America. Yeah, in this plague. Yeah. Yeah. So that was his day. He comes out and he says that. And then in the end, he makes a little footnote and he goes, oh, and as far as the election, time will tell. Time will tell. That's it. That's all he had to say about it. Not I'm honored to congratulate the new next president, or I'm working on trying to get this over with so we can move on with the, none of that. Just time will tell. I don't care is what he said. I don't care. Yeah. But what he's going to do is going to spend 2 months texting people. Texting and asking for money. Yeah? So he can get the votes turned over. And people are sending him millions of dollars, not millions and millions and millions and millions, but millions. They're sending to him so he can pay his lawyer fees and other things because he's broke. He's broke. When he leaves office, he's broke. He has nothing. Zero. Zit. Yeah? All he's got is lawyer fees and then upcoming attorney fees that are coming into offense. And then he has loans by the hundreds of millions that he has to pay off over the next year. Yeah? And the bank that he does business with is in the middle of an investigation for giving him loans he didn't qualify for. Yeah. And why would they give him loans when no one else would give him loans? Hundreds of millions of dollars worth of loans, that he hasn't paid back. Yeah. So there's a lot going on in that little man's life that he surely wasn't ready to face it, right away. And that's what his dilemma is. He has no recourse other than that to come down. But we have a scenario to where we're very blessed. We have Biden, who's had 2 terms before. He's worked out the relationship of who to finance and what to put together. They worked out the pandemic completely, set up a book and everything. So he's got a whole team, scientists, already put together in order to work out the proper way to go about testing and investigating, researching, and closing down, having people not go out, only in very, very selected areas where it really is very high in the amount of people who are being tested and found out to be positive. Shut it down immediately. Everybody go home. Everybody go for a long walk, stay outside or something like that. Don't get near anybody else, Got to do it for 2 weeks. There's nothing we could do about it. Your group is in the worst case. We don't have hospitals to throw you in and keep you isolated, So it's the only thing we could do, and it's what's going to happen. It's going to go from one place to the next. And over the 3 to 6 month period, that level that we're at the highest in the world will go down to be at the mid-range of all the rest of the countries, and we're going to look better than them by June, July, August. Yeah, it'll be so low. And at that time, we will have vaccines. I don't recommend anybody take the vaccines. Yeah, I don't recommend it. I recommend you to wait 3 months after the first use of the vaccines and wait for many people to have a reaction. And if there's no reactions, but wait that 3 months, because they're not doing it. They're not putting the time in to investigate that length of period that you need to wait through after giving it to large masses of people and animals and everything. So it's going to happen in real life. Everybody's going to be the experiment. And they're believing that it's 90% effective with no side effects. Yeah. So if that's the case, then 3 months after it's given out, we should have no side effects. We should get an enormous drop. Yeah. And then you should immediately get your vaccine. Don't wait. Get it. Don't take any chances. Let's wipe it off the map completely. If we take the vaccine, we've wiped it off. We no longer have it in us. We cannot spread it. We cannot receive it. It will close down in less than 6 months. Completely gone. Yeah. Even if it does crop up, no one will be able to take it because they've already got the vaccine. They're not receptive to it. Yeah. So that's our future. That's very nice. Yeah. That's very nice. And that's not Trump. That's science. That's people who worked hard to get us to this. And now we're going to have the right organization to dispense it. Yeah. And we're going to have the right facilitating process for us to get back to work and for people to begin their healing. Yeah. Their whole process of their economy. Yeah. And this group, this Biden group, they always say the vice president that came up, she's a socialist, it's because she has extreme values in relationship to the home. The need for economy, the need for people to go to school, and the cost of what it takes to do that. Yeah. And the raising of, the regular wage in every state, in every town, in every city. And that can't be held by employers. It has to be seen differently. Wages need to come from the government. We're all paying into this process. We're paying taxes and everything. Yeah. And you cannot go to an employer and ask the employer to pay you $25 an hour that you need to have the nice house that you're living in. It ain't possible. It just ain't. You got to have subsidy. You have to have something that comes in and subsidizes your living expenses. Yeah. And it's not food stamps. It shouldn't be welfare. It shouldn't be anything like that. It should be normal. Because the cost of living is the cost of living until we bring the cost of living down. Yeah. And if you don't bring it down, you have to subsidize. Or people are at a loss. They're so suffering beyond anybody's care. So suffering. And the majority of people are suffering, not the minority. Yeah. Then everybody thinks that, they're tearing us down, they're taking our money, they're making the town look bad. All these bad thoughts are coming into it. we have to subsidize poor. We have to subsidize people who are at a certain level of their income that can't get above that level of income. We have to find ways to make sure that they have an income that fulfills their home, whether or not their home needs to be free so that they don't have the need for that income, whether or not their house needs and their food needs, are set up in such a way to where their income is so much and their food need is so much. When they get their check, it's right there. Rather than taking money out, you put money in. You don't have to go to another organization and get food stamps and fake money and all this kind of stuff and walk around feeling that you're on welfare all your life. When you get your paycheck, it should be in the freaking paycheck. And it should be the amount of money it takes for you to live. I know this sounds like, what? How are you going to do that? It's easy. It's easy when you're such a big thing and you're without a king. You're without a queen. You're without all these things that are absorbing your money that would put you in this condition. We are not in that condition anymore. So since we're not in that condition, we have enormous funds to buy gazillions of dollars worth of military might. Just because we have spending money. It's like we're millionaires and we want 100 yachts. We want our own personal airplanes. We want all these things. And they're not necessary things. Yeah? What we need is negotiation and peace across the nation. And slowing people down rather than building people up to build bigger aircraft carriers and faster rockets and jets. If we're putting our time and energy into our society, not into those systems, we're breaking down capitalism. Yeah? And you don't know that you serve capitalism until you do what I'm telling you. And the benefits you get from it, because all we're doing is sharing. It's not capitalism. It's a whole other way of looking at things, It's just sharing. Money is not the way it is. Money is trade. Yeah? It's just like I'm trading my moccasins for your knife. Yeah, it's trade. It's just trade. Yeah? And when you're in a state of trade, you don't need so much. You usually have your own land. You usually have your own animals. You live with those things. Those are your equity. In any normal country, your equity is how many cows do you have? How many sheep do you have? How many horses do you have? How many kids do you have? That's your equity. Not how much money do you have in the bank. Because this is what you're going to survive off of. If you have a horse, you got a way to get around. If you got cows, you can eat. If you got chickens, you can eat. If you got land, you can grow. And everybody you put on this earth could be sustained. It's self-sustaining. Yeah, and that's how democracy works. It doesn't put us into this whole other utopian-like world to where everything is plastic, and all twinkly and full of electric light bulbs, like we see in future cities. I see it more as trees, and lights only when you need them, and you're asleep in the dark, and you're up in the day, and those normal things that go on, we require far less electricity, we require far less things, when we're in our nature. We're not out drinking all night long and doing all those things and staying up all day long, and losing our clock or working and never getting outside, never seeing the sun, never seeing trees, just driving by them real quick in the dark, You get out there in the morning, you go, whoa, I live in the forest. What do you know? Yeah. All of our democracy is to move us in toward nature and to bring us into closer and closer relationship to the way God creates dharma. Yeah. So that's everything that we've got coming up. Yeah. We have an enormous amount of opportunity if people take their own focus. Like right now, you You would love to have a solar system, and you'd love to have a battery pack set up, and you'd love to have all these things. But gosh, that's so expensive. But it's not. It's not. You can make your own batteries. You buy batteries like this. It costs $1.20, $3 a piece. You can buy 100 amp battery, and then string them together to make 1,000 amps, And those batteries cost you like $150, $200 a piece, not $10,000 or $20,000. But a really big battery system could cost you less than $800. Yeah, and you can buy solar today. You can buy solar panels for about $100. So you can get 8, 9, 10 solar panels, and run that off of a generator and an inverter, and now you've plugged your entire house, all your lights, your refrigerator, everything is on a kit that you put together for less than $2,000. And you have 10 years of free electricity for, you DIY, Learn how to use a screwdriver. Get past fear. Yeah. When you're not aware, when you do not have wisdom, when you have not experienced something, you have fear. Yeah. Fear of the unknown, And in order to get to democracy, you must go through fear. You must pass through the unknown and come out the other side. And all of a sudden you find what you were afraid of provides you your life. Is not to be afraid of. Yeah. So you make this battery and you get this solar going, you switch these switches on, you spend 4 months studying what is the right thing to do, what is the right company to buy from, all this stuff. You get it together, it costs you only $2,000. You flip it on and it works. Every day it works. Every day you go to the refrigerator, don't be darned, it still didn't go off. No, hey, look, everybody's electricity's out there. Huh? Mine's still on. Yeah, as long as there's sun, yeah, And if you don't have sun, you get yourself a little gas generator. You plug that in for 6 or 7 hours of the times you don't have sun. And you generate electricity into your batteries, and you run off that as long as you can through your system that you built. Yeah. By the time it comes back, your batteries are back, and you're back online, and things are the same. Yeah. And that same thing is going to happen for your car. When you get electric cars, your electric cars have more batteries in it. It has a standard of 3 to 4 Tesla battery Powerballs. Yeah. Or in one car. Yeah. So you buy a Tesla car, even used, you've got your entire power for your house for 3 days. Yeah. And in 3 years, we will have plug-in options that'll take us off the grid, plug us into our own solar system, our own car, yeah. And we're running our whole house off of a car that we bought. We had no idea that was going to provide that, yeah. So there's all these things that are coming that connect together that are going to solve problems that have to do with money, yeah. Things that we think we have problems with now that we can never catch up. We can never catch up with all the money we have to come up with. Yeah. And it's really a difficult process because our truth that's coming at us has to do with prosperity. Yeah. And how do we get to prosperity when we're coming out of a non-democratic reality? Yeah. Because prosperity is always seen in the reality of like capitalism or something like that, or even a king or a queen, yeah? But we've never seen what happens in prosperity when enlightenment takes place. And the field of humanity is established in a stage of enlightenment, and enlightenment is democracy. It's a manifestation of enlightenment, yeah? And on a level of the United States and the whole globe, it's a matter of humanity awakening that level of enlightenment that's instilled inside them. So you provide them these opportunities, and then they start waking up. Oh, I didn't know the car I can plug in. Oh yeah, next year they'll have that option. Oh, great, I'll get that. It's $100, And you do it, and all of a sudden, whoa, this world is really getting interesting, Wow, I used to have a cable box to watch TV. But now it all is Wi-Fi, and Wi-Fi is satellite, and satellite is almost free. No more cable. That's insane, And you get the best connection you could ever imagine. So there's never a day it goes down, because you got cable companies, and they got electrical line problems. They got cars that run into lines. They got accidents that happen, and all of this. A whole town is without electricity or cable. When you are in your own sustainable reality, and everything you do, your Wi-Fi, your electricity, your water, your everything, all comes from your little central base, then you're in a state of independence on a soulful level. You have soulful integration taking place, and you have a lot of things that are manifesting that allows you the ability to learn things that need to learn. You need to learn about the modern world of electronics. You need to really understand it, because it is spiritual. All the words, volt, ohm, all those words are spiritual. We have no idea, how it is the sine wave is spiritual. But when we get into this new technology, we're finding out that they're all based on this process of electromagnetic energy and proper use of sine waves and frequency and all this stuff, to the point to where we're actually, if we have a battery and a solar system, the new technology can actually take that, amplify it 4 to 5 times than what it was before it came in. And when it comes out the other end, that what could have been 100 watts turns into 500 watts, and what was 20 amps turns into 100 amps. And you didn't do much of anything different other than utilize new technology that advances the atom, movement of light. In the new field of technology, when we come into light technology, we can advance the movement of the atom. We can advance the movement of current and frequency and distance. Movies, all kinds of things that can be happening digitally could be advanced if we have control over light, not just using electricity. We can use laser and do all the same things. We can transfer data through laser. That's light. But if we combine digital data frequency to relationship to light, and how fast it moves through our brain, or how fast it moves in a current in technology alone, that is increased. It's just like having a central processor. That processor is an increase. It takes everything, goes to the very center of the core, and then it goes back out, and all of a sudden everything is 1,000,000 times more than it was when it went in. It is so synthesized and so amplified and so clarified and so digitalized, but yet moving more and more towards light. And it's in the light technology that we're going to find our whole path of healing energy and vibrational medicine and all those different things that are the avenues that we're going to be stepping into. Once we have electric cars and minimalism and we're sustainable and we're eating well, then new advancements will come. And it's not just going to be stuck in who's got the best radio, who's got the best computer, who's got the best, fastest car. It's technologies of the soul that will come next. And I come into that. I'm in all this. But when it comes down to the technologies of the soul, I'll move that advancement very quickly. And we'll be able to then utilize, areas of meditation. Like right now, if people do soul therapy with my work, whether you're a master meditator or just an average person who's never meditated before, if you come into my work, sit in a pyramid, listen to my music, you become transcendental, and you can't control it. You have all kinds of things blocking it, many other things going on, But the transcendental part of it, your soul, and the integration of your soul interacts with my soul. And we get together, yeah? And you wake up, by an integration of between personality, which would be my manifestation, and your manifestation is personality. But my manifestation as soul stimulates your manifestation as soul. That's not manifested yet, yeah? So I'm doing both those things simultaneously. And that's part of a new technology that we're going to get, yeah? Where we understand the etheric field. And we understand the energetic imbalances and balances. Yeah. So when it comes to growing new bones, growing cells, yeah, slowing down the process of mutation and changing its course from one direction of mutation to oscillation back to its original genetic waveform. And then it just triggers right back and comes back as the original waveform that it was mean. Yeah, this is all done through your meridians. Yeah, but we have no connection to meridians yet. We have no connection to the energetic field relationship of every single thing has a code, just like a thumbprint. Everything does. We need to have technology so advanced that it can find that thumbprint and stimulate it. Yeah. And I do that. I've got my technologies advanced in that way. And I know we could do it because I have the technologies that do it. But there are so few people, less than 500 people on the whole planet, that buy into this technology and utilize it and put it into their hospital or their clinic, because it's just too far beyond their belief system. Yeah, but it's there, and it's many advancements of that technology has been going on, and it's so developed. By the time we do catch up, which we're going to do, we're literally on the cusp of the next level. First, we had to get to an understanding that, electric cars and all these things, which is our culture. When we have a culture that doesn't destroy the planet, we're on the right culture. So we have to resonate and be moved into the right culture. That took the hippies. They did yoga, solar, don't need electricity, lay in the sun, all that kind of stuff. It took that cultural response, for them to do that sort of thing. It opened up America into the process of what would be later on very advanced technology, like they're dealing with acupuncture and they want to do all this Ayurvedics and understand energy and chi and chakras and all that kind of stuff. All the hippies totally got into it. They studied it. They became very well aware of it. They became doctors in acupuncture of it, So there's nothing really left behind. They really worked through the whole thing. So it is grounded inside the American reality. We have acupuncturists in nearly every state. We have schools where you can become licensed doctors of acupuncture. Certain locations you can become homeopaths. Other areas you can study kinesiology and energetic medicine. All those things are in the very lowest level, the very beginning stages of what it is going to be our biggest wave of change in our system. We have electric cars, all that. That's going to make a big difference. But when it comes down to how we heal ourselves and work with each other, and then that delves in to sciences. Right now, we're picking up a telephone and they're saying, that's going to give you cancer. Oh, 5G, that's definitely going to give you cancer. And you're going, well, okay. It's not making a difference, You can tell people smoking's going to kill you. Oh, really? Yeah, that's terrible. And they're going to continue. You can only raise their consciousness. Once you raise the consciousness, that conscious energy comes inside, and all of a sudden everything else is different. Their identity behind what they can identify with and what they can deal with comes to fruition. It's really difficult for people to be able to make big changes. But we can see those changes in our system. We can see acupuncture did happen during the time of the hippies. We can see that certain areas of solar and certain areas of understanding diet and being organic and living normal, as normal as possible, was not abnormal. And we survived through it. Many of us lived through it, yeah? So the outcome of that is that soul has instilled into humanity a sense of what we can do by the very small number of people who did it, yeah? It doesn't take large numbers of people to make the difference in the world. Small numbers of people drive electric cars, go yahoo, yahoo, yahoo. 30 years later, everybody's driving an electric car. They're all going yahoo, yahoo. Everybody's the same. Everybody wants that yahoo, yeah? But they think they're going to get it from this. They think they're going to get it from smoking. They think they're going to get it from alcohol. But as a collective group, we get it from specific things, yeah? A car that drives itself is really a navigation that keeps you from being lost. Whoa! That's mind-blowing, yeah? That's earth-changing, yeah? Yeah, all those things are things that are from the future, but were not planned for by people, yeah? But once they're given to people on a collective level, there are things that we are asking for. Every time we get into a car, where's the nav? How do I work the nav? This is hard. How come it's not like mine? Yeah, and they get easier and more intuitive. That's the whole thing about democracy is intuition. Yeah, it's not on logic. It's not on, you got to get used to it this way. You got to get used to it that way, and then that dies out because it really is dysfunctional. And then another way they try, but intuitively they actually gather everything together, and they actually discriminate what of all those things works. And now we're going to put those in. Those are the times that we're in. We're in the time to where design and engineering is reflective to intuition. Yeah? So when you sit in a seat, you expect to put your hand down like this and change the seat. When you change the gears, you expect to go like that and change the gears. Yeah? It's not like everywhere and you're talking to the thing or something like that. You expect to do something more common, yeah, consistent, yeah. So as time goes on, all those things, whether it be on your phone or anything, it all works out as a collective. What is it as a collective people are drawn to? Yeah, what do people want? What is their interest? And before it used to be the engineer would go, "This is what I want. This is my interest," This is now your interest, And then they'd come up with someone who made a brand new car and had, seat belts and an engine in the rear and had lights that went from side to side as you went around a corner and drove 120 miles an hour and didn't crash and had all kind of crash-proof things, windows and all kinds of things, yeah? That car was built, yeah? But it never got produced more than 50, yeah? Because it was too much. Is like the 4-minute mile, It's really hard to be the first person to break the 4-minute mile when everybody believes that it's got to be this way, yeah? And our consciousness is all about being able to receive what it is that we're meant to receive. But we get stuck in this place that's not democracy. And we're held down by tyranny, by big business and people that are going, just give them another Chevy. Make it look like the last Chevy. A little different. Put fins on it. I don't care. Not going to make a difference. It'll sell the car. Just sell the car. Yeah? And then slowly but surely, certain cars came out and the public were really drawn towards certain things. And that started making an intuition in the process of our creations. Yeah? Whether it be TV or do we need certain kinds of homes? How should they be structured? Should be 3-bedroom, 2-bedroom, upstairs, downstairs. All these kind of things, are by nature what we all are attracted to. Yeah, just like in the van process, there are hundreds of thousands of people today that want to just buy a van and kit it out into a bedroom kit, a kitchen, a living room in a van, of all things, really a van, yeah? But they do it, and they're drawn to it, yeah? They're drawn to it because it's a collective consciousness of people, of like-mindedness, yeah? And they're just working through a process on how to get from one place to the next, yeah? They don't really want to live in a house and be stuck in that house with bad neighbors forever, yeah? Yeah, they don't want that, so they'd rather live in a van, yeah, and travel around and maybe meet people, maybe not meet people, but definitely free to enjoy their life. On a day-to-day basis, enjoy their life, yeah? So there are masses of people that are going into the process of intuition, being drawn by their intuition to leave a home or do certain things to let go of, step into a van, and take a big adventure, yeah? And that's not an easy thing to do. It's just like making your own first solar kit and putting your battery kit together and doing all that. It's DIY. You're doing it on your own, yeah? Where you're going to go, how you're going to sleep, where you're going to sleep, all those things are now completely up to you. Intuitive, yeah? Not planned out. A little planned out, as much as you possibly can, but the planning even happens intuitively, yeah? So there's more and more and more that has to do in democracy, in real reality, has to do with our development of intuition, yeah? And that development of intuition is what makes the difference between all of us as to whether or not we're capitalistic people that are stuck in bad habits and really are just, mundane in accepting the mundane reality that we have and not being able to do anything about our health or anything about our politics or anything about all the things that we come into in this world, yeah? But we can, yeah? We can do everything about it, We can get rid of presidents, yeah? If we put our mind on it. If we actually believe we can do this, we can get rid of them, yeah? Because the collective mind of intuition is drawn toward the fixing of a problem. And if that means you got to get rid of your president or change the whole system, then your intuition will lead you toward it. Not aggression, not fault-finding or anything like that, but your intuition. And then a series of events begin moving into effect. And your intuition is calling it into action. It's thought form building, but you have to have open mind for intuition to take place. And then you start learning from your open mind things that you find that are more interesting than what you thought was interesting. And you start building a pattern, building what it is you want, yeah? And you start developing that. And you take chances, and they may not be exactly what you want the first time, but because you have open mind, you're willing to let that go, start all over again, and keep going, yeah? And that's how we're going to move very fast. And that's what's happening, yeah? People letting go of their regular cars and buying electric cars and taking a big adventure, and then all of a sudden they're the happiest people they've ever thought they'd be. They never thought they'd be happy in a car like this, but they are. They're more than happy, yeah? And they're proud, their decision-making process. People are looking up to them. People want to talk to them about their car, When do you have that happen? When are you famous, yeah? When was the last time you drove into a parking lot and everybody come walking up to you and want to ask you questions? Yeah, but that's what happens when you make the right decision. When you do the right intuitive thing, it attracts people. It's a magnetic attraction, and people want to know, how did you have the guts to do it? Yeah. How did you decide that color? That's the prettiest color I ever imagined. And you have white seats. Oh my God, I knew that was possible, but I didn't think I'd ever see it, You take those chances and you follow through on your intuition. You'll find that you're fulfilling your dream, but it cascades into this whole other thing, into the good, the true, and the beautiful. Yeah? Everything becomes beautiful. I don't care what choices you make in sport, the outcome will be beautiful, yeah? Whatever position you plan on taking in life, the outcome will be beautiful, That is life. That is democracy. You have the right to live a beautiful life, a good life, yeah, a free life, yeah, and be true. Live your life in truth, yeah. And you can't imagine, how much you get out of that. Every time you accomplish something, you fix something, you build something, you get all these creative juices going on. And it's little things. Most of the things are things in yourself you need to change. You get too wound up, you get too aggravated, your intuition tells you, it's not a good way to be. Maybe that's not right. And that in itself is a counseling. Your intuition is counseling you. Yeah? And it's gentle and it's kind. It's not mean. Yeah? And next time that circumstance comes up, you do not behave like that. You're much gentler because you have a closer relationship with your intuition. And your intuition becomes your soul. Becomes the words that you talk. It becomes the way that you speak. It's goodwill in action. Yeah? It's the third ray, the first ray, and the second ray. It's all aspects of the monad that come into us. And that's our job, is to bring the monad into us. And when it comes in, we're going to be intuitive on a big scale. Yeah. All right, so let's pray a little. Repeat after me. Lord Jesus the Christ, thank you for bringing me here. Lord Jesus the Christ, I open my heart today. I invite you to come inside. Lord Jesus the Christ, come and save my life. Receive me today as a child of God. Forgive all my sins and write my name in the book of life. I give myself to you, my spirit, my soul, my body. Receive me, Jesus the Christ. Now, the devil, the blood of Jesus the Christ is against you. I command you now to leave me. I command you now to leave me. I don't belong to you. I am God's property. Leave my life. I disassociate myself with you. I renounce every evil covenant with you. In Jesus' name, I receive salvation. I am a child of God. Amen. Okay, this puja, just keep your eyes closed and listen to the words, and we'll do Om together. Take a deep breath.
light work out.
7. The aspects of love of God. 7. The colors of the manifesting one. Sevenfold the work. 7. The energies. And sevenfold the path back to the center of peace. Let the disciple live in love and love in life. The soul is the Son of God, the product of the union of spirit and matter. The soul is an embodiment of consciousness of mind, the expression of divine intelligent awareness. The soul is a unity of energy, vibrating in unison with one of the 7 ray lives, and colored by a particular ray of light. The personality of the soul is the embodiment of love, applied intelligently, producing an attractive form which will serve to express that loving intelligence. The soul is intended to be the embodiment of divine purpose, applied in great active creativity, which produces the power of creative love. We are born of the love of Father for the Mother, of the desire of life for form. Express the love, the magnetic attractiveness of God's nature, and the responsiveness of form nature, and the I am consciousness itself of the awareness of deity in life. Okay, just relax. Okay, you can open your eyes. So, like I mentioned before, there's a big difference between Biden and Trump. And the people that follow Trump is an occult, so they have very sixth ray attitude, militaristic and aggressive, in your face. You got to see it their way. That's the only way. You study the solar plex and how the solar plex works and what the sixth ray is, and you know, this group is 100% sixth ray, and because he is a dictator, he requires that in people, 100% loyalty, yeah, and threatens your life, you know, if you don't, you know, that's a very common thing that they do. He does that, and so there's an event, a series of events coming up that have to do with President Trump. Even though he's out of office, even though he won't allow himself to go out of office, he's now creating a militia, which is going to show up this week. And it's big. It's tens of thousands of people, and they're all militant. And I'll show you a little something on them.
Count the legal votes! Count the legal votes! Count the legal votes! Count the legal votes!
I just gotta get some video clips.
Supporters of President Trump are expected to descend on the nation's capital Saturday for what's been dubbed the Million MAGA March. A number of conservative and far-right groups plan to take part in the demonstration. It's expected to begin in Freedom Plaza and then head to the Supreme Court. White House Press Secretary Kayleigh McEnany said today she expects the turnout to be, quote, quite large. Other pro-Trump rallies are set to take place simultaneously in cities across the U.S. We should note left-wing groups have also applied for permits in Washington, D.C. this weekend, raising questions about the possibility of clashes. Let's bring in CBS News correspondent Lilia Luciano. She's been doing extensive reporting on the Proud Boys, one of the far-right groups expected to attend the Million MAGA March in D.C. Welcome, Lilia. So how many people are expected to show up for this march? Who are they and what are they hoping to achieve?
It's really hard to tell because I've been talking specifically to the chairman of the Proud Boys. He says he hopes for tens of thousands. The first time we spoke about it, he said maybe 10,000. They understand it's not going to be 1 million people. But there's those groups that are organized like the Proud Boys, like Patriot Prayer. I also spoke with Joey Gibson, who's the founder of Patriot Prayer, who have also been involved in some of these brawls and confrontations with counter-protesters and protesters. And they hope it's going to be tens of thousands, but there's really no way of knowing. I know that Freedom Plaza only takes about 13,000 people. That's kind of a maximum number. And of course, that's not counting the counter-protesters. So there's no specific number out there, but they hope it'll be tens of thousands, everything from these groups to just President Trump supporters, people who want to either contest the result of the election, debate it, or who just plan to continue following him and celebrate him.
Well, this group, Proud Boys, have been associated with violence, and the city is expecting counter-protests. So what is Washington, D.C.'s mayor, Democratic Mayor Muriel Bowser, doing to try to secure this event?
The mayor has already said that police have been alerted. The police have been not participating or taking part, but have shown up to try and keep protesters and counter-protesters separate. So they're prepared, and they prepare for the worst. They expect the best. I do know that there are counter-protest plans, so there could be clashes. So they're prepared, but there's not much they can do at this point other than just go out and create a line. We saw some similar event happen in Portland, where on August 26th or September 26th, I think I'm confusing the date, September 26th, there was a big Proud Boys protest planned, and police in Portland showed up and kind of created a perimeter around them to prevent anybody who would go there and approach them, or prevent them to go into a counter protest or a protest from the more common Black Lives Matter protests that had been happening for weeks in the city.
Yeah. And all we would like is for him to just say thank you for allowing me to be president for years, and okay, I'll leave, but that ain't happening. Yeah. So what else has been going on? Yeah. Has this man been a little corrupt during the time he's been in the office? What could he have done? Well, just recently they found out that 9/11 had a benefit program for people who lost their lives, or people who were harmed in the cleanup and the process of saving people. Yeah, the millions and millions of dollars were put aside in a fund. And Trump thought, oh, no one knows about this. I'll take $500,000 every year. Yeah. And he would deduct $500,000 every year out of it and throw it in the treasury, and then pull out of that money, and no one really knows where it went, what it was used for, except that it's gone. And people who were requesting it last year, they had to pass a bill to increase the amount of money in there, because it's been taken. And there's no money to help the people that are dying from all the asbestos and all the things that are causing cancer in their lives. So this is a little event there.
It has been 19 years since 9/11, and despite what the Trump administration might say today, despite the platitudes and their faux concern about the safety of Americans, the truth is, behind the scenes, and this is according to an exclusive report by the New York Daily News, the Trump administration has been going out of its way to siphon money away from a fund that's meant to pay for the health care and medical services of first responders, including firefighters, police officers, or anyone else who showed up to the scene of 9/11 to help rescue people and to clean the rubble. Now, the Treasury Department mysteriously started withholding parts of payments nearly 4 years ago, meant to cover medical services for firefighters, emergency medical technicians, and paramedics treated by FDNY, World Trade Center Health Program. The payments were authorized and made by the National Institute for Occupational Safety and Health, which oversees the program. But instead of sending the funds to the city, the Treasury Department, under Steve Mnuchin, started keeping some of the money. And they did it without any notice. They have not explained why. They are essentially taking money away from the people who put their lives on the line in order to help rescue others and to help clean up the destruction on 9/11. So the program director has come out, and he shares his thoughts. He says that he was docked about $500,000 each year in 2016 and 2017. Then it crept up to about $630,000 in 2018 and 2019. This year, Treasury has nearly tripled its extractions, diverting $1.447 million through late August. So last year, I think it was last year, there was just this huge story about how congressional lawmakers, Republicans in particular, were unwilling to fund the program necessary to help first responders pay for their medical expenses. And many of them have had these rare forms of cancer, all sorts of ailments as a result of their courage and the fact that they were willing to go out there and help as much as they could. But because of Jon Stewart, of all people, congressional lawmakers were pressured into passing the funding necessary. Now we're learning about funding being taken away by the Trump administration. We don't know why, and they certainly haven't announced this.
So these are ongoing things before he got into office. They're ongoing things that's been going on a long time. They're ongoing things as he's in office, but they are not normal. It's not normal. We shouldn't think that that's normal. Because the reason why your wages are the way they are is because of this. The reason why we don't have good insurance that's paid for by the country, and it's not really welfare or anything like that. You go to a doctor, you go to your best doctor, you go where you need to go to get the work you need to get done. You make the appointment, you go in, there's no charge. And it's not like, well, you can only have this doctor, or you can only have this program done. And it's all authorized by your insurance company. Nope, sorry. That's not real. Yeah, and businessmen and insurance company suits are not doctors, and they shouldn't be making decisions over my medical. So that future is where we're going. A type of medicine and so many things that are going to be worked out. But corruption won't allow that to happen. So this is a lot of corruption that's happening right now. And imagine this guy. He's a real estate agent. Well, that's probably one of the biggest ecological problems in the world, because these people make these big, tall, high-rise buildings, and they make casinos, and they make buildings for billionaires and not for people, and they won't allow black people into their buildings, and it goes on for a long time, And then, as an ecologist, the one thing we hate the most is golf courses, because the water you use in them, the ecology that's wasted. Everything is a waste of time and energy and economy in things like that. And if you're going to help, you don't run businesses like that. You don't run that yet. So he's got a ongoing process of harming in every direction. It's not goodwill in action. It's none of that. But what we have coming in the future is all of that. So we have an enormous reckoning of this two people. One happens to be the #1 attorney in the United States, will be our vice president. And she's head over heels ready to put Trump in prison. That's why she's vice president. Her job all the time is to keep him in prison. That's her job. She knows it. Biden's job is to help humanity, keep on top of it, push everything internationally and nationally, work out all the things, get the trades to stop, and embargoes and all kinds of things, and stop being the best friend to North Korea and the best friend to Russia and the best friend to China. Leave them in their own shit. Be an ally to all the people they threaten. And don't take up any shit with these people. Don't try and build a hotel there. Don't try and get an oil deal there. Don't try and do technology there. Do nothing with them. Nothing. Let people trade as they wish, but have laws as to legal trade. What's legal trade in America? There's an enormous amount of crap coming from China that's harming children and people in their homes. The chalkboard that board that goes up in every home, that you see as a wall, a great deal of them come from China, and they have asbestos in them, and we don't know it. They don't have standards there that we have here. So there's reasons as to why we should not buy from there. We should not buy grains from there. We should not buy from there. Their social economic scenario of employee is horrifying. You know, why should we do trade over there, or why should we build businesses over there in order to take advantage of people? That's not democratic. We shouldn't behave like that. And that's going to be what's instilled in this government, is to help people do right social trade and make proper decisions to where you're not taking advantage of people. You know, and a lot of times they don't know they're doing it. They make a deal with someone, and they don't know that the factory it's going to be built in is a piece of shit. And the people that are going to work in it are women and children out of farms that have nothing, have no income, and maybe get $2 a day and have to live there, cannot leave from there. Yeah? They're indentured. They're indentured slaves. And we have a lot of businesses that we get our clothes from, our tennis shoes from, you know, everything, you know, and they got these fine labels and all these actors and actresses that have their labels on them, and they're all from these terrible places. We need a government that controls that. Yeah? Not puts embargoes and stops trade, but stops bad trade, you know? Puts safety measures in for people. When anything comes into America, we have to spend the money to check it out, send it back if it's not meant to be here. Yeah, we can't just accept, you know, simply because it gets on a barge and it comes here, you know, 80% of them are safe and legal. Yeah, it's just not real. It's not real. And we are going to have a governing body that's not corrupt and knows of corruption and is more than willing to step in the middle of corruption and stop it from happening and not be a part of it. You know, right now we're coming out of everybody's a part of it. You know? The last person in the world is going to listen to you is President Trump, because he's the devil who makes deals with devils. Yeah? No angels in his group. Nobody caring about the world. They're all dictators, morose, terrible dictators, you know, and they're his buddies, people he wants to look up to. You know, so we're out of that. You know, we just have 2 more months, you know, and then he's in prison. And our vice president will reap that man one up down the other. Yeah. And it will be a day in heaven. We will cheer every day that we see the pictures of him in his orange suit, walking from one location to the next with his head down, getting fatter and fatter and fatter. Yeah. And his wife getting bigger and darker eyes, you know, because she's humiliated beyond belief. Yeah. All of them have to make an arrangement with God in order to get out of their scenario. Yeah. And that's where the United States come in. You know, we're a compassionate process, but we also deal with the devil properly. Yeah. Yeah. So thank you all for receiving this teaching, and let's look forward to the future. Yeah. Because intuitively it's being worked out. People that are being put in charge are blessed by God, and people that are being taken out is being judged. Enjoy. Thank you.